And what was normal is not normal, but I thought it was normal.
What's going on, guys? So I want you guys to take a look at this one particular clip, and you've probably heard the audio, so we don't really need the audio, but I want you to pay attention to the visuals. This is Anton. He's making an impassioned plea, and notice the body language. So you can tell that he's very involved in the conversation, and while he's doing that, you can see that there's just no attention being paid to the camera, and yet he continues to engage. You can see even here, he's talking and there's not even facing the camera on her part, right? So the question I want to ask you is, how is it as Black men, how we learn to, I guess, accept this kind of disrespect, really? At the very least, respectfully, you could face the camera, right? Anton has not even gotten eye contact with the camera. So apparently whatever is going on in that lower left-hand corner is more important than what the impassioned speech from Anton Daniels is. And we, as a group of men, have been acclimated to deal with such behavior. We talk about the passport in this space because without the passport, technically you can't travel anywhere. So you have to get the passport first, but the passport is not an end-all be-all in terms of solving all of our issues, because there are some bottom line things that we've learned that we have to unlearn. Our definition of malehood, we have to re-examine that, because the definition of malehood that we've learned is really centered around how are you liked by women. If women like you, then you're more of a man. If you're not liked by women, then you have to re-examine your definition of malehood. Now, I want to show you this majestic structure, Tokyo Skytree. This rises 634 meters out of the ground in one of the most earthquake-prone countries in the world. To build this kind of structure, a different kind of malehood is needed. A malehood that we don't necessarily have direct access to, because it is just simply not the kind of manhood that we're taught. This is Tommy Sotomayor, and he's talking about his upbringing and how he's himself had to do some unlearning.
You said
because I was raised by, if you're raised by, listen, it was a bad group of women around. It just really was. I saw a bad group of women. I was raised in the projects, and what was normal is not normal, but I thought it was normal. And you kind of start getting together with people who've had the same kind of crap that you've had, and y'all bring crap and y'all make a whole crap gumbo.
So Tommy starts out by stating that what he thought was normal wasn't normal. And if you don't realize that your normal is abnormal, then you carry your abnormalities with you where you go.
But then I end up with the mental part. You're attracted to it. It's like the old song that said, some people want to use you, some of them want to be. You kind of bring that thing in your life. And a lot of times we'll bring that thing in our life that we swear up and down we don't want. And we find ourselves in that situation. I think that was probably one of my issues.
Tommy is going to continue with a problem that the passport cannot fix.
I felt so bad for the women because it was very few men in the house. The only men were us boys. There were no men there. And I think this is why I'm so against single parents. I thought my mom and my grandmother, them were like gods, and they were just perfect, and men weren't shit.
That is a problem. That is a problem that cannot be fixed with a passport. We in our community, even those of us who are lucky enough to grow up with our fathers, and I'll say this about my father did a fantastic job raising me, but my father can only prepare me to be a Black man in America. And with that, there's only so much masculinity we can assume. What I learned in Japan is how to be a complete man, which I'll get to in a moment. But you cannot learn how to be a man when you're worshiping women.
And I was growing up to be a man, though. So I thought men were evil. Men were bad. I seen men, my mom, I seen men just never be there when you needed them. So I thought men were evil. So I said, I want to be the change. And all I grew up to be was a simp. I grew up to be a man that was giving women shit that they didn't deserve, thinking that just because this is a female, you should try to take care of her.
That's right.
But what happens is if you grow up in a town full of vultures, you end up getting used being that guy. And to this day, I still am that guy. You can listen to whatever people say about me, but most women don't say anything any bad about me.
What he makes as a point is, when we learn that manhood is centered around making women happy and that women are gods and we worship them, and if we don't complete the sentence, a real man, and then do whatever that is for the person that's asking it, we're not a man. You carry that overseas and you stick out like a sore thumb, because that's not what manhood is. I always suggest this, and I'll continue to suggest this, because I know a lot of guys want to go overseas to get ladies, but you should get a mentor. And Tommy's going to explain that in a very brief couple sentences right here.
You don't learn, when you're raised by a woman, you think that your job is to save everyone. You got to save the community. You got to be a mentor. When you're raised by a father says, you pick the woman that you want to take care of. You take care of that woman. You don't take care of all women. You take care of what's yours. You build yours. And that was my problem. I thought, well, my mom deserved a good man, even though she had kids by several men. So I should be with a woman like that. And then it took me a while to realize, wait a minute. No, I shouldn't. You should have your own.
This is yakitori. If you know yakitori, you know it's absolutely delicious, especially when it's hot off the grill. And it is eaten in a place called an izakaya, where people gather together, and while they're consuming yakitori, they consume spirit and libations, if you will. One thing about conversation in izakayas is that the conversation is genuine. If you know about Japanese culture, there are a lot of rules in terms of social behavior, but a lot of those rules come off when you're having dinner together in izakaya. And so here you get to hear men talk like men. And I learned how to be a man, not just a black man, not just a black man that can function in America, but a man. Stoicism, how important women should be, dealing with emotions, all kinds of things. What is your purpose? How are you moving forward? What's your plan for the next 2-3 years? All conversations I've had with grown men in restaurants like this. Only men. Enter the black manosphere, or shall I just call it, it's an izakaya for black men that are thinking and sharing thoughts. It is a pub where black men are sitting down, sharing thoughts about things from dating and women to life to the black male experience. Now, as a passport bro, there are some people that maybe don't necessarily associate themselves with the movement, the black manosphere, but I'm going to say unequivocally, I do. And part of that is because it has helped me not only deal with women, but deal with my black experience. When BGS Ibmore responds to why, quote unquote, the black manosphere identifies more with Karen than Keisha, the question is not why. The question is, who is to regulate conversation in the black manosphere besides black men? Just like I spoke about the izakaya, there is no regulation of the conversation among men drinking and eating yakitori in izakaya or in a pub. Why is there regulation here? And it goes right back to why I speak about needing mentorship and the passport not being enough. A lot of how we've been conditioned as black men is to placate to women instead of doing what men traditionally do, which is compare notes, gather thoughts, build things together. Unregulated by outside influence, in our case, women. Men need to learn how to be men. And when you go overseas, one of the best ways you can learn how to be a man is get mentored by a man who is not manipulated by women. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.